Luxury Productions presents Survival of the Fittest podcast, a product for the people, by the people, where dreams go further than bullets. With your hosts, Lucky XL and Monz Logan. Let's go. Yeah.
What's up, you squares? It's your boy, Baby Monz Logan.
And it's your girl, Nikky Niche.
And we are Survival of the Fittest podcast. Our brother, Lucky XL, couldn't be here today, but it's all right. The show must go on. Now, today is a very, very, very special day. And anybody that's been here since day one, they will understand why, right? You know, and typically I don't do this, but I didn't want to mess this up. So I gotta read some stuff off, right? You know, today we have, Playpen Vodka, who has won more Spirit Awards than any other independent-owned vodka brand in the state of Illinois. We're talking about the 2022 Sip Gold Award. We're talking about the 2022 Bartender Spirit Gold Award. We're talking about the San Francisco World Silver Medal Competition. You know, we're talking about produced right here from our beautiful city, Chicago, Illinois. We got these two brothers that had a dream. We got Teddy Robinson and Joseph Moton, and these are Playpen Vodka CEOs.
And the crowd goes wild.
I wanted to do you guys the best I can. Typically, Lucky does these introductions. He's a natural at it. You know what I'm saying? But, a little improvising or whatever. But, man, we just got to start off, man. How y'all day going?
It's going,
yeah,
man.
it's going well.
Yeah,
Well,
we're excited to be here.
Yeah.
That's good.
No,
It has been it's been kind of like a work in progress, trying to coordinate time. So we're super excited to be here to talk to you guys, especially with the level of support that you guys have shown us since very early on. So we're excited to be here today.
No, we definitely appreciate you guys. You know, you guys are, have a amazing product that we believe in. Maybe not as much as you guys, but just as much as you guys, Yeah. And we bringing you guys here because we want you guys to tell your story. So explain exactly what's Playpen Vodka and why is it so unique?
Okay. So Playpen Vodka was I've been working in the hospitality industry, I think, for like the last decade or so. And so I used to want to start like a restaurant or bar. Also, I've got like a good friend of mine who has like a boat or yacht or so. And so during the summer times, we go out and drink and party. And so it was 2019. We're partying, drinking, having fun. And I'm just like, no one's using the word playpen for anything.
Right.
And this is a cool place to drink and party, have fun, have experience, create memories that last, And so as I was researching, like, I want to open a restaurant, I want to open a bar. I also was researching liquor because I was like, I also kind of want to do liquor. And so when I was researching liquor, vodka was what came up to mind because it was kind of like vodka is the highest sold spirit in the US, right?
Mm.
So if I'm going to jump into any market, I want to jump into the market that's like the biggest market. So at least you can take some of the pie and still do okay. And that was like 2019. And so I was in the hospitality industry. COVID happened like in March of 2020. So the idea of doing a restaurant or bar was out the window because I seen how volatile that could be based upon what's going on. And then come July 4th, we were having a COVID 4th of July in my mom's backyard. And so Ted and I are there, we're drinking. And I told Ted, I was like, hey, I've been researching vodka to start a business. And I feel if we need X amount of money, I think we can get this done. And so Ted goes, I'm in. So Ted goes, the money you just asked for, I got it. I'm in. And so from there, I was like, oh shit. So, all right, well, if he's in, I've been researching this. I got, just got the idea. All right, let's figure this out. So that was the 4th of July. We wind up incorporating the company like the 20th of July. And then from there, we got to figure out what else we need to do. But by like September, October, we actually had a finished product, which was Playpen. And then that following March of 2021, we had distribution. And so it means nothing, I guess, to have a product without distribution because you can't sell it. But the fact that we went from July to September, October with a finished product, and then someone who say we would buy it and sell it in March for us was great. And that's kind of like, I guess, the story of how Playpen started.
We'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Playpen Vodka. This premium vodka is gluten and sugar-free, and it's the only vodka that's cold vacuum distilled at temperatures of 50 degrees or below for that smooth and clean finish. Playpen Vodka, pour then play. You said something very important that I caught. You said you guys were, celebrating the holiday at your mother's. So you guys, it's official. We put it out there. You guys are brothers.
Yeah.
Older brothers?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of three. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what gave you that confidence in him when he said, hey, brother, I have this idea? And knowing that he's never been in this industry, he's coming from a totally different background, what gave you that confidence to say I'm in?
Yeah, good question. So Joseph and I have it's an interesting relationship because I'm 10 years older than him. We've always had that brother-father kind of relationship in terms of so dad died, passed away at a young age. So
My condolences.
I appreciate that. And so I kind of played the dual role and kind of helping to, again, it's only 10 years, but it's 10 years, and 10 years in the 90s, it's like decades apart in a generational, if you will. And so I was one of the ones that really we've had a long we obviously have had a long history. I mean, I was the dude that made sure that he went to college, that he stayed focused and that he really focused on trying to do the things that he wants to do in life. So, I mean, I've always, it just was a no brainer to me. I have the utmost confidence in him. He's been in the restaurant industry for the last 10, 15 years. It's had a lot of exposure there. I come from corporate America where I've been working in health tech and pharmaceutical and pharmacy services over the last several years. So I was with it from a business perspective and understanding that, he had some knowledge around the product or what we wanted to try to sell. And I thought it would be a good synergy between the two of us, that we could get a product out there and we can actually, sell it, create a meaningful business strategy to get it in front of people. So, I mean, this kid is probably one of the only people that I would trust to do anything like this with. So for me, it just was no brainer. I didn't matter that he hadn't run a liquor company before. I just know that he has drive and ambition. And and that's how, I feel like this is what we kind of had raised him to do. So, so if I don't have faith in him, like who the hell else is going to? So yeah, it was easy for me.
This is a total bromance. I love it. And it's so organic how it all came about. And that's the best part about it. And I feel like when things come together easily, that's when you know that it's kind of for you, because when you have to force it. But your slogan for Playpen Vodka is pour then play. So can you walk us through how you came up with that?
Yeah, so we were trying to find a slogan after we did the name. Well, yeah, because until Ted, like, let's, it's Playpen. That's what we're doing. So then I was like, damn it, we need a slogan. So what happened was there's a marketing guru from like the 70s and 80s. He had a book called Advertisement of, can't think of the name. It's called like Advertisement of a Marketing Salesman. Anyhow, all the business schools tell you to read the book, right? I never read it when I went to for MBA for like a year, but I bought the book and I read it like in 2 days. And I was trying to come up with a slogan. So bought the book, read it in 2 days, and I tried to apply some principles, and that's when pour then play come. And then I called Ted, and I was like, Ted, we're gonna do pour then play. Ted's, he's like,
it's a great slogan.
Well, it is. It took a moment to grow on me because initially I said that's corny.
Yeah.
And then, so it took a moment. So, but then hearing it and playing it in my head, obviously. So, but the whole concept, the idea around the playpen, and the idea that the way where when we had this conversation, so we converged on this around at our mother's house, and in the spirit of us having a good time, we're often drinking and partying at when we have these things at our mom's house. So,
Do you play spades a lot?
We do play spades, not as much as we
Not as
probably
much we
should.
used to, yeah.
And not as much as we used to, but
Yeah.
we definitely do. But it was kind of one of those things after a while, okay, it makes sense. Because initially, like I said, I was like, dude, that's corny, man. And
Yeah.
but then when you think but thinking about it, like, wow, that makes perfect sense then.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what would your slogan have been?
I wouldn't. That's not, that's not my thing. I'm not the creative type, more or less.
Teddy's great with structure, organization,
Yeah.
making sure like the stuff that needs to be done behind gets
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
So the yin and the yang, basically.
Yeah. That
And let me
he's
ask you guys this. So no other business you ever started?
No. I've tried. I feel like too with like business, it's like you can try and you're gonna, you just gotta keep trying. You're gonna strike out. You're gonna strike out. You're gonna strike out. So like I like help someone start like this company. I don't want to say the name. I helped someone start this clothing company with like padded weights in it, and then they kind of took off. Like my ownership wasn't in the paperwork because I had some trust in it, and it didn't work out the way we thought it was gonna work out. So, but no, I mean it's like in life, it's just like you keep trying, you keep swinging your bat. And at some point, you're gonna hit something.
Some doors gonna open.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and just to piggyback with that is that for me, it wasn't a thing that I had started a business before. It's one of those things that was in my mind, but I didn't prioritize it because I had these other things that were going. I spent years leading corporate initiatives where I was driving revenue opportunities in 10, 25, $50 million account, the scope of accounts, right? And so I felt like, if I could do this for somebody else, what should I be applying that skill set to something of my own?
Bingo.
And so that was pretty much because I grew up in the time, right? I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in a time where you just get a job and try to excel at it. You stay there and you do the work. And so when Joe talked to me about this, I'd been thinking about, how do I get into this? Or do I want to do some consulting work? Or do I want to do something else or some IT work? And when we talked about, and in that, I didn't know where to start at. So when we talked about this, I was like, hey, that makes sense. Especially because often I was talking to other people about starting opportunities, and that was with other people. And for me, I don't trust anybody as much as I don't trust anybody as much as I trust this guy. So for me, if I'm gonna do a business, I would rather do it with him than anybody else. So, and that for me because that gave me safety. I'm not saying it's risk free, but I know that we got each other's back,
Right.
and the intention is right there. And so that's kind of how that worked
And for
out.
me, when I got I can name 2 or 3 businesses I got shorted. So for me doing Playpen, and I'm like, I need an investor. And when I got my brother, I was like, oh, perfect. Because now I don't have to worry about being shorted. At the end of the day, it's like, we gonna have to go to mom's house and talk. So for me, it was just like, that's awesome. Because from those past experience of doing the work and not getting what I deserved. And I had one business, I did the entire, all this research, data mining, and all this BS. And it didn't work out, and I left with it didn't work out and not with a percentage that I should have got. So with this, it was just like, it's my brother. And
Now let me ask you this: when he came to you, Teddy, did he come with a full business plan? Was you like, you got to sit down, you got to lay it all out? I want to see numbers.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
So I told Ted though, I go with business plan. So with the business schools nowadays, it's not like no one does a 60-page, 70-page business plan anymore. It's all called what's called a business canvas, where you do a chalkboard and say, all right, it's one big chalkboard. You've got your revenue, your channels, your customers, your consumers, and relationships you need, right?
Right.
It's just all on one page. And so with that, you identify who you need, what you need, how do you get this done, how do you get money for it, and then how do you sell it, right? All in one page. Now, the cool part about those and I was telling Ted too, it's cool part about that is things change. And, and as a business, you got to be able to pivot, because a business plan means, the 60-page business plan means nothing once you open that door.
Yep.
You can and I look at Google here in Chicago. Google Google business plan was kind of like to sell products to other businesses. That failed. And so Google had to pivot to sell products to people from other businesses. And that's, it's not Google, it's what's it called? Groupon, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
right.
Groupon. I keep saying Google. But Groupon, their main business model was to sell from business to business. That failed. Then Groupon went from business to consumer. That's called a pivot. And so if they would have stuck to their business plan, which they did for like almost a year, but they lost millions of dollars, right? So as a small business, you don't have that opportunity. So you need to be able to pivot. And pivot means like whatever you think is going to happen, when you open the door, if that doesn't happen, you got to be able to change real quick or you won't be around for a while. So with the business model canvas, and you can like YouTube, like business model canvas, we've got like 3 books. But it's like, it's awesome because it gives you an idea of how do you create a business that if shit doesn't work out, you can pivot. Yeah. So, and that's exactly Ted and I, like I sent Ted like, cause it's like, I'm asking you for money and I want you to trust what I'm saying. So I was like, this is the leader from the business, and from the business school I went to, it's like, yeah, this is what they're saying we need to do. So we did strategizer, did a business model canvas. It wasn't no 60-page business plan. It was more of like a 3-page flash notes. And you're just like, okay, this is your action that you need to do. And if this doesn't work out, you need to pivot and figure it out. Yeah. And so for me, it was important because I don't want to lose my brother's money.
Right.
So I don't want to make him think like, hey, you just put me into something where I put all this money in.
Right.
And the shit didn't work out. It's okay. I can curse.
Yeah.
Okay,
And, and just to add on top of it, it's more than just money, it's time.
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Because
yeah.
I still
Absolutely.
have
Energy, time.
I have a full-time commitment in addition to doing this. So there's time. So because I have to dedicate time to doing Playpen, obviously, because it's not just that I want to invest in it and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's how do I help drive this business forward?
Exactly,
So
So, a lot of people say that you should not do business with your family. So, with the experience that you both are having, what is your advice to them, or what would you say to someone who says that to you?
I think
so it depends on the family member you're doing business with.
also too, you don't do business with your family. You look at the Waltons. They own Walmart.
Yeah.
You look at the Carnegies or you look at the Rockefellers,
Hiltons,
like the
yeah.
Hiltons. I think that
The
people,
Kardashians.
yeah,
Right.
I think people who say you don't do business with family probably have never done business.
Yeah.
See, that's a black thing.
I'm sorry?
A black thing. Black people say that more than others. Like you just mentioned some of the other businesses.
Yeah, I think that families can do business because families can trust each other.
Yeah,
And-
and just so that just to say this though is that so part of the reason is that if you have a level or a mutual respect for each other, so that's family or otherwise,
Oh.
right? That makes that easier to do. So you shouldn't go in business with anybody that you don't trust or
Right.
that you don't respect their expertise, or even if they don't have expertise, their hustle, their ability to learn, to upskill, so that they can make it happen. So I think it's, again, my first response is going to always be, well, it depends on the family member you're talking about.
That's true.
Sure, it's not everybody that 90% of my family, and that's no disrespect to any of them. No, I wouldn't do a business with them, not because they're bad people, but because I don't have enough perspective on their ability to successfully execute a vision.
Oh, that's true.
And
yeah.
so,
A great answer.
I'm sorry.
It was a great answer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. So that's primarily, and like I said, is that, it's not yet necessarily unique because a lot of people have this, but the nature of his and our relationship is part of it also. Because I've been, when he'd get out of school, when he'd be out of school, in college, where he come, he didn't go home. He came to stay with me,
Right.
When these, especially when things were going on in his life, who was there? It was me. When his son, his kid's born, who was there? It was me. So it is that part of that is based on the relationship that you have. So, if you don't have that, there are a lot of stuff that we don't see eye to eye on just because it's generationally we're different, but the ways that matter, we do. So that's, again, this is a no-brainer for me. So when people say that, again, look at who it's coming
Right.
from. So,
So you can do business with family.
Yeah.
This is a family member you can trust.
right.
But I love the idea of doing business.
Yeah.
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 like you said, it's the ideal situation when you gave all those examples.
Sure.
Of you're talking about Fortune 500
Yeah.
businesses. Created from families and
Yeah.
from generation to generation.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this amazing product that you guys have. I'm talking about top tier. I don't even drink vodka. You guys got me back drinking vodka.
That's
I'm a
awesome.
whiskey man.
That's awesome.
I'm really happy to hear
Right.
that because I hear often, I only drink brown liquor, but I'll drink some Tito's. Well,
Right.
you don't say you don't drink. Don't say you don't drink.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how many times somebody has told me that. It's like, I only drink brown liquor, but I do drink Tito's. So I'm like, well, so you kind of can't say you only drink brown liquor.
Right.
Not in response to you, but I'm happy that your exception is the Playpen. So.
No. So walk me through that process. Like, why vodka?
Well, vodka is the highest spirit in the United States. So, like I said earlier, like if we're going to jump into a market, it's going to be a market where you can take a small piece of the pie but still win.
And I should add this though, just to say this, is that when we started talking about this, one of the reasons that it was so easy for me is that I was a vodka guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all about, sir, I was because we mentioned Tito. I was all about, Grey Goose, Ciroc, Belvedere, Kettle One. I have only been, I don't drink the brown stuff at all. And so and I don't drink gin.
You have good taste.
And I've done, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So don't drink gin, just have tried to dabble in tequila. So vodka has always been my drink. So when we talked about it, it was an easy sell for me.
And then too with vodka, it's like, I mean, with whiskey and bourbon, you guys like, you got like 2 years for this.
Yeah.
Or like, tequila, it's got to come from Mexico. I mean, if you want a silvers, like 35 days, reposado, 6 months, añejo over a year. With vodka, we can make like 3,000 pounds in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, it's a product that we can get in, get out. But it's also a product that we know people love to drink. And so
It's super because it's super versatile.
Right, from the college student partying to the martini at the bar, at 6:00, it's a drink that people drink. So that's kind of like why vodka was like, all right, let's do this and figure it out.
Yeah. And like I said, it's super versatile. You can literally, I was reading some article recently and they had, people drink vodka tonic, vodka cranberry, and then they were just listing, it was a list of like 20 different, that's not an all-inclusive list. There's just 20 different things you can mix vodka with. You can essentially get whatever taste that you're looking for. So it is super versatile. And for me, that meant universal. That mean that accessible to a broader audience. So, yeah.
Walk us through the process. What's the process of getting it made? And
So with Playpen, so we're one of like 3 companies in entire Northern America that do like a cold vacuum distill. So everyone else cooks vodka, or everyone cooks liquor at about 200 degrees, right? So with Playpen, we're cooking Playpen at like 50 degrees. So we're slapping a cold vacuum distill on it, which is different. But we feel at that temperature, we're able to keep some stuff that should be there, get rid of stuff that should not be there. It kind of makes for a cleaner, smooth taste. We're only distilling it one time. A lot of companies, they're distilling stuff like 3, 4, 10 times. Usually when that happens, it's kind of like you're trying to hide something.
so when you're distilling it, what exactly is?
So with spirits, it's kind of like when you distill it, it's like, so we take the vodka, the ethanol, because we're using corn. So we're using ethanol. And so when you distill it, that's how you get it up. That's how you cook it, where the enzymes kind of do some stuff and make it liquor. And so once that process happened, that's our distillation process. But like I said, we're not doing it at 200. We're doing it at 50 degrees. And then we run it through like a carbon filter 6 times. They just kind of like clean it up and then kind of make it the finished product. But it's kind of like you ever go to Starbucks, you get an iced coffee and you drink it. And it's like, oh, this is kind of refreshing, right? And then you ever like boil some, you ever make coffee at home at a hot temperature and you pour it on ice and you kind of don't get the same effect. You're just like,
Yeah,
oh.
it's like cold
Yeah,
press.
it's like, okay, this just didn't hit what I wanted it to hit. So, I mean, you're going to be drinking the liquor on ice anyhow. So we feel like cooking it at that temperature scientifically makes sense to.
And it really
Yeah.
it really suppresses the off flavor. So the things that
Exactly.
causes hangovers or the things that gives you that kind of kickback,
Yeah.
cooking it at a lower temperature doesn't activate those off flavors. So that gives you the
Very
smoother
nice.
experience when you're drinking it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and like I said, we're like 3 countries.
There's only,
we're
three
like 3 companies in Northern America that does it.
Yeah.
And so it's different. It's new. And like I said, yeah, it's been proven because we're winning some awards. So
Yeah, I like it.
yeah.
Okay, so you two are 2 Black men. You're successful men, and you're from Chicago.
Mhm.
So walk us through what your experience has been like dealing with Black retailers and just, that whole.
I think that you want me to start. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start
Okay, go ahead.
because I'm passionate about this one. So it's been an interesting experience. We as Joseph mentioned, that we started at the height of COVID. Well, I'm sorry, when COVID was becoming a thing. So on top of COVID, we moved into George Floyd space, right? So everything was about Black business, promoting Black business, getting behind, rallying around the community, doing things to create space and opportunity for us. And those are part of the reasons that, we were thinking the timing was probably pretty good. This gave us an opportunity, and we were fortunate enough that within 7 or so months of us completing our first kind of like batch of products for the floor, that we were able to get distribution. One of the primary barriers of entry into this business is being able to secure distribution, because if you can't distribute it, you can't get it to anybody, right? You can make as much product as you want, but you cannot legally sell it to anyone. So that barrier is removed, right? So not only did we get distribution, we were fortunate enough to get distribution with a local distributor, which is a challenge unto itself. So we were in a situation where we are a Black-owned brand that's made, produced, and distributed all out of the Chicago area, which, I felt like, in my perspective, allows us first some enhanced quality control, for us to be hands-on, for us to make it ourselves, for us to be there and ensure that we get a product that that rivals, these mid-market level vodkas that are out here. And so I say all that to say that we've put a lot of care and attention in a lot of commitment into what we're doing. So when we began to approach businesses, it has not been without challenge, specifically as it relates to our Black businesses. Part of that, I think, is that, from a cultural perspective, we gravitate towards products, items that are known, that are supported, and that are they're either endorsed by celebrities. They're a legacy product. They have this sense or the belief of high luxury or quality. And so those are things that we typically as a community tend to gravitate towards. So it's a lot harder for a local small brand from Chicago, which was actually pretty surprising to me, because there's always this talk about Chicago pride, for us to not only get in front of folks, but when we do get in front of folks, get folks to commit to us, or get folks to commit to following up. And so it has been an extreme challenge of ours because we were approaching places, right? Within the community, they're like, well, you guys got to get a distributor. This was in our earlier days. I mean, still early days, but the earlier days and so we did the work and we got a distributor. And then it became about just radio silence. I'm going to share this example real quick, and you can finish this up. We had an experience with, we were in a store in Hyde Park, and we were doing a tasting, and this young, we were pouring in, people were enjoying it. And this young Black guy, he went to the school over there. He's like, I don't buy Black products. And so it was kind of in that moment that I realized that, wow, this isn't going to be, because we're so hardwired to believe that there's a lack of quality, integrity, and support behind products that we create. And what we've attempted to demonstrate is that although we are from around the way, I think that we've developed a level of professionalism, a level of responsibility, and just a way of doing things that would create a space where we're easy to do business with. We have some Black businesses that have been amazing, provide some amazing support. Some, though, it's been a little more challenging to get exposure, to get an opportunity with. Would you say something different?
And like what the one he's talking about, so we did a tasting there. It's in Hyde Park, and they're Black owned, and it's like, yeah, we're excited to be here, right?
Right.
We show up, you guys had like 10 bottles, I think or 11 bottles. We sell out that the first hour.
Right.
Or first 2 hours. And so now we're just telling people like, go to Benny's. Benny's is down the street. They're out. We're gonna leave, but go to Benny's, right? And so I guess the shitty part of it is that, okay, we show up, you only had 10 bottles, we sell out, right? You buy another case, and then you haven't bought since, right? But you sold out. But it's like, so too, I think with the Black businesses, and now we have some great experience, but we also have some experience where people are expecting you to do more than you should have to, right? So like, our first buyer was the Dearborn. And I love the Lawless sisters who own it. And so the Dearborn was buying like, I don't know, 11 cases of liters a month, which is a lot. But they were our first buyers, and they were just like, Joe, you work with one of our bartenders at another steakhouse bartending, and we want to support you. That was it.
Yeah.
They didn't want anything from us.
Yeah.
They didn't want us to show up and do some weird stuff or to compromise anything that we want to do as a brand. And so I think that we find with like some, like with some retailers, within our community, they're just asking us to do like all this above and beyond for something that we shouldn't have to do.
Yeah, because it's the expectation. I'm sorry, I just want to say, it's the expectation that we're going to provide a level of support that they would never require
Tito's to do.
A national brand that can afford to do that, but they would never require that level of commitment.
So they want y'all to go above and beyond.
That's correct.
Yeah. So it's like, and I'm not going to say it like on how I feel about it on here, but I'll talk about it later. But it's just like, you want us to, why? I just feel like you guys want us to do.
Yeah, they be playing in your face, period. That's really what it is.
And I would tell Ted, it's like, you guys want us to do like some kind of like weird monkey dance. But some stuff we don't have to do.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to buy, the price is the price, right? And if you want us to move the price, I get it. We can do like you buy 4, we give you 1, whatever you want to do. But we just find it challenging when, like retailers want us to do certain stuff they don't require.
Yeah.
People who don't even show up to do, So that's all.
And bar owners too. I've engaged that, one of the things, as I was just telling you is that we're from the West Side, but I spent a large part of my life on the South Side. I graduated right down the street at John Harvard Elementary School.
Same school I graduated from.
I was so for me, that I feel like I represent South and West Side, right? And so I was super excited about the opportunity to really get into to get our product across the city, right? And I thought that it would probably, I was like, it's going to be a home run because these are neighborhoods that we grew up in, know people over there. And I got to tell you, it has been almost next to impossible to get people to even have a conversation with you because they're so committed to the products that they're selling for whatever reasons, right? And here it is that we've developed a local product that's produced with exceptional quality at a price point that rivals any of the ones that they have on there. We're not charging, $30, $35 for a 750 milliliter bottle. We're on average, $19.99 to $21, depends on where you are. But
and like to talk too, and like we're at like we have 2 Michelin star restaurants that Playpen is the main vodka. Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Brazilian Contemporary Art. Like these places are not asking us to come in and do some weird stuff to sell our product. They're just saying, hey, we're glad you're in town.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's like, and so we try to do above and beyond. But working with, I guess, with some of the retailers with Black-owned retailers, it can be somewhat difficult because the above and beyond where we feel like you guys are not requiring anyone else to do this. Yeah.
So it's disappointing because every time that, and I'll just say this last piece on it, every time you ask us to do something above and beyond, whether it's to show up, the number of times that you want us to show up and things like that, every time you do that, you take away from our ability to go and pursue other opportunities. And so it's unfortunate because we certainly want to be front and center of that, right?
Right.
However, what we can't have happen is that you only champion us when we're there. Will you be committed to pushing our product when we're not around? Are you committed to re-upping with our product when this sells out? That part is even more challenging because we're not asking you to promote it for us, but what we are saying is like, let your customers know that you have. Let your customers know that you have it.
And I can say this too. We have a black-owned bar in Andersonville called Nobody's Darling, right?
Yep.
Those ladies asked us to show up. We would show up anytime.
Absolutely.
Because they're buying 50 cases a year, right?
And the support from them has been tremendous.
Is amazing.
They have us on their menu.
Yeah.
Everything. They promote us with with their customers. So we're not opposed. Our issue isn't about showing up.
Yeah. But if you're not buying, it's just hard for us to be like, all right, here we go. Yeah. But with Nobody's Darling, like, they're buying 50 cases a year. So Nobody's Darling, Black-owned lesbian bar in Andersonville, we would show up anytime.
Right.
They're buying 50 cases a year.
Right.
And then you got the bar that's like, all right, we want 6 bottles. Can you guys show up and do this? Like, what? Like and then the moment we leave, you're not going to buy anymore.
You're never going to buy.
Yeah. So that's kind of the answer to that question.
Right.
I think.
It's been interesting where you have, and just to put it in perspective, is that bars in our community that have been willing and committed to showing up just to give taste and samplings, just the resistance or the non-committal mindset around the lack of commitment around folks just saying, well, you know what, come on in. Doesn't cost them anything. And the fact that there seems to be this hesitancy in allowing us to come and share what we're doing, it's peculiar to me. Yeah.
I would say, I'm sorry, in Monz, I want to know if you agree. I would say in my experience as an entrepreneur, I feel as though the companies that are secure within themselves are the ones who show you the most respect. And the ones who are operating off for survival and they don't know like where their next check is going to come from are the ones who want you to do the monkey dance.
Yeah.
You know?
It's probably true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. It's fair, but I think that
But now some of these businesses, like there's a bar in the South Loop who's been open for a long time. They're still going to be open. And so I was talking to a bartender. I was out and a friend of mine owns a bar in Lincoln Park. He introduced me to a bartender who works at that bar. And she's like, yeah, we carry Playpen at our bar. And now I know who buys every month. I get a depletion report. I know who buys, and so like, no, that bar doesn't carry vodka. She goes, no, we carry Playpen. And I'm just like, how's that possible? She goes, oh, we go get it from Benny's. I'm like, oh, okay. It's illegal, but but it's just like, and I say that to say it's like, that bar wanted me to do the monkey dance. I didn't do it. They didn't buy from a distributor, so they just go get a few bottles from Benny's. And
the cheat code. Okay, so we have this new segment we call Shoot or Pass. So pretty much what we're gonna do, we're gonna ask you guys a question. It's a multiple choice, and if you guys answer the question alike, then we go on to the next one. But if there's a different answer, then you guys both have to take a shot.
Shot.
If there's a different answer, we take shot.
Exactly. It's only right. Y'all spirit, y'all own a spirit company. You gotta, you gotta have some fun, right?
All right.
You gotta pour it and play, right?
That's right.
Okay, go ahead, Nikki. You wanna lead us off?
All right, I'll go first. So would you rather have a partnership with 50 Cent or Chance the Rapper?
Oh. We gotta say
Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No shot that time.
That's a great one. Okay, so being from Chicago, we always debating, baseball. Is it the Cubs or is it the Sox?
Oh,
I was saying the Cubs.
Oh,
You said
Cubs.
Oh,
It's the Cubs. I thought he was gonna say the Sox.
Oh, no.
wow.
No,
Why the Cubs though?
I lived on the north side like the last decade or two. I actually lived in Wrigley for like 4 or 5 years. And so Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, Contreras,
the World
that
Series
whole-
team.
Right.
Yeah, I was out in the streets
Right.
like that night, like partying and drinking,
Taking
So-
shots. Come on, get them
Yeah,
shots. Come on.
Well, you gave the wrong answer, so we got to take a shot.
No, we
You should-
both said the Cubs. We
Oh, does that count?
Yeah.
I thought one of y'all said
Yeah.
Sox.
You guys got to. You
Okay.
got
Nobody said the Sox.
No. I said Cubs.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard
Okay.
Sox.
Yeah. He said
Yeah.
he thought I was going to say
I
Sox.
thought he was gonna say the
Oh,
Sox.
okay.
No, we're Cubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna give you that freebie.
All right. Y'all can throw one more question
So-
on if you want to.
But you know what? Okay, so I didn't actually get to elaborate and get to ask you why you chose Chance the Rapper over 50 Cent, though. We need that answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's from Chicago.
Okay.
We're a Chicago brand. We know some people who know him, and I think 50 can be volatile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think that as far as I'm concerned, that's true. Yeah, Chance is probably I don't want to say more relevant, but he's in a different space. 50 is in a different space than he was at in the early 2000s, right?
Absolutely.
And so, but primarily because Chance, and even if they were around the same space, it would probably say Chance number one because Chicago, and I just always demonstrate the Chicago pride, and I just like his vibe. So,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
don't get us wrong. I think 50 is probably a bigger artist.
Right.
But we're local. Chance is local. I would choose Chance.
He's
always
definitely
gonna
the
go
bigger
for Chicago.
salesperson.
Yeah.
50 sales.
No. Yeah, 50 is 50's
Yeah.
50. He's got movies. He's got shows.
Product. He done sold it. When he had the vitamin water.
I
He
got a
sold.
picture with him with an effing bottle.
That's
like
true.
Right.
50's 50. Don't
Yeah.
get me
50's
wrong.
competition at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, 50's 50. I just think Chance is a great because he's just from Chicago. And yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
always
No.
Yeah. So okay, deep dish or thin crust.
thin crust.
We're just taking shots, man.
I'm just saying, we're going to have to get some harder questions up here now.
Thin.
I'll go with
Cheers.
deep dish from either from Pequot's
So,
and Lincoln Park, or also from I mean
so if,
Illuminati's is good.
yeah.
as
So
well,
if I had the
but-
deep dish, it's gonna be Illuminati's. But Pequod's I don't consider that's Detroit
no,
style
Pequot's
pizza.
not Detroit.
Yes, it is.
That's
That
not
whole
Detroit.
burnt crust thing.
Oh, you gotta get
Oh,
that
y'all better
Detroit,
get it
that
right
D-town
now.
piece up out of here.
Yeah, that's that
Pequot's
Detroit.
not Detroit.
The
from
form-
Lincoln Park.
It's from Lincoln Park, but what I'm saying the style that it's made,
No,
it's a Detroit style they make.
the Detroit pizza here is called what's it called Jets.
Jets isn't just here though.
We're not going to Jets.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
no
no, I like
jets.
Pequod's, but yeah, take the
Cheers.
shot, man.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So for the next shoot or pass question, if a genie came to you or someone came to you and said that, you could choose between Rihanna or Beyonce to do a photo shoot for Playpen Vodka, which face would you choose, Rihanna or Beyonce?
Brianna at this point.
We're taking shots. Jay-Z might see
You like,
Beyonce
sheesh.
take that photo.
I get that,
That's
but,
a whole
but
nother
Rihanna,
revenue.
right now,
Pregnant Rihanna?
listen,
Baddie
Okay.
regardless.
right. Consumer
not.
consumer products. Rihanna is at the top of her
Sure, but
game.
I think Rihanna hasn't did a show.
She doesn't have to.
Right.
She
Because
doesn't have to.
LVHN is selling her perfume. I
Right.
get it. I'm going with Beyonce. The Beehive, I think, is bigger.
So the question was so
the
you
Beehive is bigger than whatever Rihanna fans are called.
yeah, Rihanna the Navy, which is she's standing almost 2 billion strong.
That's
so
fine. That is fine. But
all right,
I'm gonna go with
just take the shot.
I'm going with Beyonce.
Messing up the game.
Okay, you got another one for him?
Yeah. All right. So would you rather spend your time drinking Playpen Vodka at a beach party or at a cabin weekend getaway?
I bet, yeah. With
That
beach
sounds
house.
like that sounds like
Who wants to go
Ain't
to
doing no cabin, no drinking at the cabin.
Who wants to go to a cabin?
Two
That's
black
that's not
brothers
my
in-
that's not my jam at
Michigan,
all.
yeah.
Okay.
Out in the
Yeah.
woods somewhere.
Okay.
Out in the woods.
Nah,
No, we go bring our sand to the beach.
we
and
grew
we're
up in the
gonna
concrete
drink.
jungle. Like I don't like the woods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not my thing.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Okay, last question. Tito's or Grey Goose?
Tito's a great goose. I mean, right now, neither.
Yeah, we're not drinking either one of those. Yeah,
Exactly.
we only drink our own.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
now if you guys would have chose one of those, y'all would have took a shot because that just would have been the wrong
Yeah,
answer.
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Wrong
that
on
was a
every
little
level.
trick. I had to throw that in there
Yeah,
for
we
you.
only
Yeah.
drink our own.
Yeah,
That's what's
I
up.
had to go off script a little bit.
That's
so,
what.
no.
Now, and I can say this too, with drinking our own. Me and my daughter was in Whole Food, and my spouse, she had a Broadway musical, and so I was getting her flowers. Me and my daughter, who's 4, we go to Whole Foods to get some flowers. As I'm waiting for the flowers, we go to the liquor section, and my daughter sees Playpen Vodka in Whole Foods, and she
Right.
goes, "Daddy, that's your."
Yeah.
And the person who's working the liquor department looked at me like I was a horrible parent.
Right.
He's like, "Your daughter knows what you drink."
Right.
And so I didn't want to like sit there like, "No, I own this."
Right,
Right, right.
There's
right.
bottles, pictures at home. I didn't want to do
Right.
that. I was just like, I'm a shitty parent. Yeah.
You should have stunted on it and be like, look, I own this.
Yeah,
This is my brand right here.
But no, yes, I just
I
threw that out
love
there.
that.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that's important, and seeing also too that, man, you guys are brothers. You here from the South Side of Chicago. Is
Wait,
it
wait, you gotta say South and West.
South
Well,
and West.
Southwest,
South,
yeah.
Southwest, right.
Southwest?
Yeah.
Well, we can't say Southwest.
No,
South and
Yeah. South
West.
and West, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it important that people recognize Playpen as a black spirit brand, or do you want Playpen really to be,
I think it's about quality
Yeah.
first. We're black, but it's about quality.
Right.
It's about making a product that is, and so like we don't spend a lot of money on like ads, market, and shit like that, because our main goal is to get the product right, get the process right, get it done right off the line, and then you move from there. And so for us, it's like I don't care if it's black or white. We're going to compete with them all. Our goal is to be the best product, whether you're black or white or anything else. And so, yeah, our time and effort is spent on making sure we're the best.
Right. And I'd like to always say that we are a premium, accessible brand that happens to be black.
Yeah.
There is the idea about how do we ensure that people understand the quality that comes into that, because there is sometimes that there's the perception, and it's not sometimes, it happens enough, that if it's black owned, there is a compromise on quality, there's a compromise on and we know that these things aren't true, right?
Service.
Oh, yeah, in service,
Yeah.
absolutely. We know that these things aren't true, but it's managing that perception. The reality of it is that we want a product that, as far as we're concerned, that resonates through all Chicagoans. The way I look at it, Playpen Vodka should be the whale vodka for every bar, restaurant in the city of Chicago. And more broadly across the state of Illinois, and more broadly across the greater Midwest area, I should say Milwaukee, Indiana, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan,
Minnesota.
any of these places that border along Lake Michigan, as our imagery shows there, our presence should be there, and it should be there because it's not that it's black owned, but we have created what I think is a pretty good product. So yeah,
Like we won like 5 awards last year, right? If we win another like 4 or 5 awards this year, we'd be the most awarded spirit company in Illinois history. Yeah, so it's just like, and we're like year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so no, but we're gonna do like, we're gonna do a whole lot of awards like the following year as well. But yeah, we're gonna get there. But yeah, so
So, Joseph, if you knew that you wanted to be the best and you are the best, that's my opinion because I enjoy drinking your liquor. Liquor is painful. It's always too strong, but Playpen is where it's at. So if you knew where it was going to go and where you wanted to take it, um, are you satisfied with where your price point is? Are you looking to change that further down the line because it is like you're selling it at a premium price, but it's like top shelf vodka,
we're selling it at an accessible price. It's a premium product that we sell as an accessible price because we're priced along. Like, honestly, look at the other brands that are
$20,
20, 25, 27, 28 bucks, and we're coming in $8, $9 under those without a compromise in the quality of the product whatsoever. Your point is that are we happy with where we have it priced at? I think so, because what we're looking to do is ensure that it is accessible to a broader audience. And even for folks that don't drink vodka, this may be an entry into starting into something that, a spirit that you hadn't really tried before. So I believe that.
And then too,
I believe that.
If you like Benny's sells at like $19.99, which I love because $19.99 is like a college kid, like three
That's
of them.
a sweet spot.
Yep.
Yeah, three of them get together. They're like, all right, let's all put $8 in.
Right.
Yeah.
So college kids can buy it. But we do have coming soon. It's gonna be called Playpen Black. That's gonna be this is made with Playpen's made with corn. Playpen Black is gonna be made with sugarcane. So it's gonna be we go distill it more, and we're gonna distill it more and filter it more. But it'd be a better product at a higher price.
Yeah, elevated.
So that would be like more of like a elevated nightclub bottle. Yeah. So Playpen Black, it'd be out soon, probably like next 6 months or so.
Okay, Playpen Black.
So typically, like when I'm going to purchase my liquor, I love going to like Benny's, the liquor depots where they have everything.
Exactly.
And I'm a whiskey guy. Jack Daniels, that's just my go-to at that similar price point, right? But I make sure, because I have a bar at home, I just grab something different to put on the bar, and I pay attention to the bottle, the label, all of those things. But most importantly, I pay attention to where that bottle sits, shelf-wise. How does that work?
The housing of like where the bottle is going to be.
Mhm.
So it depends on like where you go. It's like it just depends on where you go. Like Benny's, I know like in Hyde Park, Evergreen Park, Orland Park, Lincoln Park, downtown. Like they put us up high because they sell a lot.
Right.
It just depends on where you go. Some people pay for shelving pricing. We don't. Because like I said, our main goal is to just get our processes done. But yeah, it just depends on where you go.
And it also depends on, it's the seasonality of it. What are they trying to promote? If they want to promote Black businesses this month, then they may move us up, or they may flag us. So it depends on what they're trying to promote at any given week or month. Those are the things that determine it. But you got to understand is that there are competitors, or there are larger spirit companies that pay a lot of money for marketing and for placement of their products in those stores. So they're big for a reason. And part of that is that they have the financial wherewithal to do those things, to ensure that you have their signage and that they have visibility there. So we're not quite there yet, of course, but we know that they're placed for different reasons at different times.
And to piggyback off Ted, it's like I know 2 restaurants who like Grey Goose is paying for like menu spots, right? Grey Goose is paying for that menu spot. They're giving them thousands of dollars per month for menu spot. And when somebody orders the drinks, it's us. And I'm like, I'm fine, because you're still buying the liquor, and you're giving these guys like, hey, it's on the menu, it's just not selling. But for us, it's just like, yeah, that's awesome. So it's like those are small relationships with people who are plugging us in. It's always great too.
So let me ask you guys this. So what is the marketing process?
So I think the marketing process for Playpen at the moment is we just, I don't think that we're spending a lot of money on marketing at the moment. Our money is just spent on making sure we're doing a good product and that kind of stuff. But as far as like marketing go, yeah, we're not really.
I heard you say you ain't paying for no ads. You're
We're
running
not
no
paying for any of
ads.
that because it's just like and like we're 2 years in, so we feel like we don't have to. We feel like the product can stand alone, and word of mouth we get it around, right? And so if we can make a great product at a great price, word of mouth would kind of spread that. So it's like I don't want to. Right. So I don't want to like, or Ted and I, we're not going to cheapen the process to pay somebody to promote it. But if you promote something that's trash, it's gonna be trash. But if we spend money on a process and get it done right, the people who try it, they'll promote it.
Yeah,
You know?
and to add to that, so and basically our strategy has been around. I think that, and we're still working through that because obviously this continues to evolve. Is that marketing? The strategy around marketing has changed. What worked? You used to do the print ads, or you did billboards and things like that. Those things don't work the way that they used to.
Right.
So we understand that the strategy for marketing has to be around content development, social media, perhaps getting influencers involved. And a huge part is about doing like on-sites or events and things like that. That's a lot of what we do right now. So what we try to do is get locked into events that we think we can get traction at.
Mm-hmm.
And so that there are people, because what happens is that I can look at unless you have millions and millions of dollars to bombard your consumer with imagery around your product, it's not really effective because I could show you, you could see this commercial about this playpen, but if it's not at the top of your mind at the time you're going to the store, you're not going to think about it, right?
Absolutely.
And it's
Or
a
if
lot.
the store don't even sell it,
Or if the
you're
store,
just like,
right,
what's
and
next?
the store don't even sell
Yeah.
it, because that's a huge part about it. Like
Yeah.
it's making sure that, because that's another part. So your marketing is carefully crafted because there's a finite number of establishments that sell the product. So what you find happens that you're telling people about it, but they can't get it.
Yeah.
And so for us, the investment has been in trying to get into those places that we don't have relationships with. So and operationally keeping us moving along.
And then two, so we spend money on like award shows. So we know, you put money into like Bartender Spirit Awards, right? We're gonna spend $1,000, right? Just to get in, right? So we'll spend money there because we're gonna win. And so when we do win, we can say we won. So for us, it's beneficial to say, yeah, we put 6, 7, or 10 grand into that because we can win those. And also at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we won that. And when I look at like some of the bigger vodka companies who's like, oh, we won a gold here or there, it's like that. Yeah, that was
ages ago.
That's 2022, but you can still say it. Yeah. So for us, the marketing dollars is in those award shows. They cost. Everybody apply, and if we win, which we will do, we win. Yeah,
It's effective.
It's
And
effective.
And the strategy continues to evolve. I'm sorry.
Promote the fact that you won.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
And the strategy will continue to evolve. Again, right now for us is that now we would love, and the goal obviously is to become a nationwide brand. We do though want to perform strongly again, as those states I mentioned, in the Illinois region, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana. So the idea is that how do we continue to get our product in front of folks in those spaces? And so
and off that, and just speaking of like marketing, like we did some award shows, yada yada yada, and I just had like somebody reach out to me like 3 weeks ago in Vancouver, Canada, and they're just like, hey Joe, you guys won X amount of awards. I want your vodka in Vancouver. So it's a distributor in Vancouver who's going to take some cases to, I think, 29 Costco's in the Vancouver area. But we didn't reach out. We didn't spend money for it. But we won some awards that we spend money on for marketing. And because of that, somebody else reached out. Now, while I'm looking for distribution in like the Midwest, somebody from Canada is just like, your shit's proven.
Right.
Bring it
Bring
here.
it here.
Yeah.
Right.
Awards don't lie.
Yeah.
So
and it's for us, and this is kind of interesting because for us is that with what we've been able to demonstrate in a relatively short time, I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer that distributors around our region would partner with us. We haven't gotten there yet, but I do think that we're
we're
on our
gonna
way.
get
Because
there.
at the end of the day,
We're gonna
like,
get there.
we're just going into year 2 here.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna get there.
sometimes, and and I'm impatient. So yeah, and again, somebody that's running major divisions in corporate America. I'm always looking towards results, and there's always I'm working from a window of time. This is how quickly, and so Joseph Ward tells me often, and he's my sounding board in this to say, because it tells me about being patient. So I know I have to always work on that. But the point is that we are mindful about how we spend marketing dollars to ensure that we get the biggest impact from that.
Right. Biggest return.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to marketing, you mentioned earlier that, Belvedere is paying a particular restaurant X amount of dollars to, right. What's more profitable, to be in those restaurants or to be on those liquor
restaurants? Is more profitable.
Restaurants,
yeah, restaurants,
especially menu placement.
Yeah, I could tell you, we've got. 70% of our business is restaurants where they're buying, because one restaurant could buy like, let's say 7 or 8 cases a month, but liters. We're not talking about 750s. We're talking about like big bottles, right? We're in like 90 retailers, but let's say they just buy 1 case per month, that's not okay. But if you were in 90 restaurants, they could be doing 90 times 6 or 7. Yeah, so restaurants is always, and then too, it's better. Like retailers, you go and buy a bottle, that bottle goes home, that story dies. You go to a restaurant, that bottle's on the shelf, the bartender can say, hey, I know this guy.
Yeah.
This is what he does. This is who he is. And that story will live on.
So most of the time, people having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So with restaurants, they can tell the story of who we are. At the grocery store, you're gonna take it home, buy it, throw it in the trash, and that I'm thankful for that. But that doesn't like move the story like a restaurant will.
And for us, the story is the biggest part of it. It is about, you have 2 brothers from the inner city of Chicago created a product that's a celebration of family, of having a good time, of good vibes, and the representation and the spirit of Chicago. That's what we're all about, and that's the story we want people to know. We were always having, and we're very prideful in the fact that we still go to our mom's house, and our sister, our mom, and our spouses, that we have a good time together doing those old school things, that having a family barbecue, having a backyard party, right?
Yeah.
Don't cancel me for that one.
It's
a backyard party. So no R. Kelly references,
right.
But the thing is that it is about keeping the spirit of that happening, because we see that diminishing as time goes by, right? And so that's the thing that we want people to continue to share, and just some boys from around the way. I remember there was a time that when we lived on the west side, it's funny because having the imagery of the playpen, right? There was a time that in coming up, it was inconceivable for me to even see this particular area of the city. It was inaccessible to folks like me from the places that we were from. And to go from a place where you had no insight, no perspective, and of course, no presence in that space, to being somebody that's created something that's celebrated in those spaces, it's a big deal. For me, it is. Because again, I'm older than this dude. And so there were things that I experienced that he never, I softened the blow for him. But I remember as a 19, 20-year-old, I was working I was working on State and Bellevue. It was the La Meridian Hotel back in those days. And to go to what's called the Playpen, it's just I wouldn't imagine I would ever been on one of those boats, been in the presence of folks there. That was where my thinking was those many years ago. And to not only to have been in those places, But to be able to, be an ambassador of that space, that's an that's a good feeling around that.
It definitely is, because when I see the product, not just in the quality of, the product, the taste and everything, but even in the imagery, it's a lifestyle brand.
Absolutely. That's
those
exactly
who know,
it.
they know.
That's exactly it.
Exactly, yeah.
You got it. That's exactly
Well,
it's a lifestyle brand. Yeah.
Now, let me ask, because you talked about, you guys still like to do the backyard parties, no puns intended. Are those backyard parties a little bit different now that those bottles are on the shelves, with the family?
No, I think not really. I think that we're family. We're family. We're gonna take care of mom, no matter what's going on.
I just want to add this. The only difference is that as soon as somebody busts out a bottle or something else, we're like, "What the hell are y'all doing?"
Right.
Like, we got Playpen in the car. So why? So I will say that's a real change.
Has
because
that happened before?
I'm sorry?
Has that happened before?
Oh yeah.
We have to tell them all the time.
We
have
see
to tell them all the
somebody
time.
pour
Listen,
something out, and I'm like, "Hey,
go,
man,
you got it." No, that's not happening.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a Playpen party.
Unacceptable.
Every party, every event here at my mama's house
yeah."
is a Playpen. If you're drinking that dark stuff, then that's fine. If you're drinking some wine, but you're not busting out the other
Anything
stuff.
else, yeah.
Nah. So that's the only thing that I feel like has changed.
No, absolutely. And I asked that, because we had a few brothers on the show, and who's gaining notoriety, and they were saying how their family treat them. Like, man, you're on. We see you on TV. We see you everywhere. And it's the perception of, you guys have made it to the big tops. So I'm asking from that perspective.
We manage perceptions.
Yeah.
Very easy to do. You manage perceptions.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Well, I think that, in our family, we're already like good leading figures in our family prior to this. So even while this is going on, we still got family members that's doing stuff. Our niece is got her fashion company just got picked up by Foot Locker, right? So that's awesome, right? We're not looking at her for something. She's not looking at us for something. We're family. We're all grinding and just trying to figure life out, know? And so, I don't think nobody's looking at each other. We're just excited.
And they know, and let's be clear, they know our intentions, right? So our family, because we were present with them before this, right? They understand this is a work in progress. When there's reason to celebrate, when there's reason to evolve our quality of life, when there's reason that we're moving on up like George and Wheezy, they know that Joseph and Teddy, that if they know that if there's an opportunity, we're all going to, and so it's not a question about that, because number one, I don't allow anybody to question my integrity. So people know who I am, they know what I do. And so because of that, I don't get a lot of questions. And because they know who I, you know what I mean? So that
and before
I don't have
this,
to manage that.
Before this, Ted's already had the big house in the suburbs, already had the condo on Lakeshore. We still big house in the suburbs, condo on Lakeshore.
So it wasn't a drastic lifestyle change.
Yeah,
Y'all pulled up the Cadillac and sold it.
Listen, I'm broker now because we funded the company, so less now.
Okay, I got one more question for y'all before I let my host wrap it up. So it was this whole thing about quality controls, a big record label. Yeah. They built it up to a certain height, and then they came in. Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber's manager, came in and bought it for like $300 million. And everybody was like, well, black companies always selling now. They get up here, and then instead of building a legacy and leaving for their children, for you brothers, once y'all go global, which is gonna happen, would y'all think about an offer like that if somebody big came in, or would y'all be like legacy building? We want to leave it to our kids.
So we talked about this, right? So I look at Casamigos. Casamigos sold 1.2 million in sales within a year. They sold for 900 million. Pinnacle Vodka is it's like the vodka that makes all these weird flavors, right? They started in 2002. They sold in 2012 for 600 million, but their sales were like at 2 million. Deep Eddy's Vodka started in 2017. They got their sales to about 3 million. They sold in 2021 for about 600-700 million. So the liquor game, you can sell for way higher than where you want to go, right? So for Ted and us, it's like we just go figure out where our revenue is going to be. And at some point, if we do sell, or should we not sell? But I also look at Berto Tito from Tito's. He started 25 years ago. He didn't sell out, and he's worth $4 billion. You know, so it's like you can go that route. You know, I'm young, Teddy's young, and we've got some kids we love. And yeah, I mean, we can grow it and have fun at the same time while doing it. Because it's not like with vodka, like I said, it's not like you got to wait years to create it. We can make 3, and we're small. We're making 3, like, you know, we can make thousands of pounds in 4 hours. When we become big, we can make 50, 60,000 pounds in 4 hours, you know? Just depends on where we want to go. But I think for us, you know, our exit strategy, because you should have an exit strategy for every business. Yeah, I don't know if our exit strategy is before we die, or if our exit strategy is leave it to our kids and let our kids figure it out. But I'm just excited once again that my kids can just show up to the bar and say, "Give me a drink, bitch."
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important because you guys are setting an example, and they are the future.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
even if they decide, hey, you know, I don't want to get into the spirits game.
Yeah.
You know, you gave them the blueprint of saying, hey, whatever industry you decide to dominate,
I got
Right.
you.
And
Dominate.
And that's the thing is that we talked about this, you know, man, it's like, what do you sell out as soon as you get an opportunity to? For me personally, no. You know, I want to drive as hard and as long as I can, and as long as it makes sense. And so that being said, is that, you know, do you cash out? I don't know. It depends on the circumstance. And if you do, are you cashing out because you have something greater that you can create? Because when you look at, you know, you have to look at it like this.
Elon Musk and Yahoo.
Yeah, I mean,
He got rid of that to start Tesla.
the Twitter
yeah.
dude that what's his name, Travis, the guy that was at Uber or Twitter, the guy he ultimately left there, went started something else. Like, so you have to look at, you know, I mean,
Mark Cuban was Yahoo.
He was radio,
Yes.
like Radio Net or something.
Yeah, and he sold
Right,
that.
sold right
and
to Yahoo. Right.
Yeah, so it's about identifying what makes sense at the time and looking at what else you can, what does the market drive you towards? What other opportunities exist? Because to your point, the idea is about building something that's lasting, so that you don't want to be just the cash out bros. If you do that though, what did you take and create? What else did you create? So it's evolved to that.
And two, with liquor, it's just so, like, for example, Douce, right? Jay-Z just sold, I think it was like 75% or like 60% of Douce
Yeah, it's like 76%. He's still
To
at like
Douce.
24. Right.
for $750 million. And when you think of Beyonce's been doing her thing for decades. But that transaction was more than her worth.
Her net worth, exactly.
So in the liquor game, it's like, if you can get it, and I mean, Douce is not at like Whole Foods. It's not like everywhere.
Right.
It's in some nightclubs. It's, you know, some places carry it. So with liquor, it's like, yeah, if you can grow it and yourself organically, you can sell it for a way higher price. So yeah.
Right.
So I don't, like Ted said, we don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah.
When you reach that point, that's when y'all
Yeah, we want to.
But if somebody shows up with a crazy number, I'd be like this.
But I'm gonna be honest. But
What's that crazy number? I gotta know, man. What's that crazy
I
number?
look at my kids like,
but you
because
know
I got
what?
2 kids. I look at my kids and be like, hey, I leave you at X amount, and
Right.
you're gonna have to figure the rest out.
But I got to tell you,
Yeah.
though, for me, for right now, and the way I look at it, and for the foreseeable future, my goal is to enjoy the ride. You know, here it is that me and my brother can do this business together, where we don't answer to anybody but each other, right? And we get to do something that's fun, that's innovative, that's engaging, and that we're passionate about. And so for me, that's the win in all of it. I it's like, the goal, obviously everybody wants to make a lot of money, right? But for me, the success is our ability to actually even do it.
Yeah.
So there's a level, so I look at different levels of how I define how successful it's been. And for the first part, I've already done it because it's like I get to do my own business and I'm doing it with my brother. And that in itself. So the next thing is that, well, how does it replace what you do today?
Right.
How do you solely do this? And then from there, how do you capitalize off that? So it's looking at when you're putting it all in perspective and you have kind of like these benchmarks or these levels that you're trying to achieve. Those are the things that keep you on track. Those are the things that keep you grateful and focused on what you're trying to do. So if at the end of the day, if ultimately we end up being able to transcend what we're doing, that'd be great. But right now, it's just enjoying being able to actually even do it. So
right. No, yeah. I agree. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm very inspired right now.
Oh, thank you.
Beyond, I mean, when the first time I tasted the product, I was inspired. But my inspiration is through the roof right now. Like, it's just so much that you guys just laid on us. So before we get out of here, I know you guys mentioned Playpen Black. What else is next for Playpen?
I think that, like I said, with corporations, which we are a corporation, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Coca-Cola was in business, like, I think 50 years before Dr. Pepper showed up. And so keep the main thing the main thing. Do what you do best. Perfect that. Make it as much cost efficient that you can. And then branch out. But you don't need to branch out right away. Just make sure you keep the main thing the main thing.
And don't flood the market with 20 different variations of something when you haven't perfected the
first thing. Yeah.
Right.
So for us, our goal is you keep your main thing your main thing. Playpen Black will be there, but that's not our main thing. This is our main thing, right?
And if we do this better, and let's be clear, we do this vodka better than anybody else, you already won.
Yeah.
Everything else is extra and it's fun.
Yeah.
But do this really well.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the stuff will come along.
Exactly.
I just want to reiterate to the fellas out there, keep your main thing your main thing.
There we go.
Exactly.
Take that home with you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, keep your main thing your main thing. Right. And so, typically we end with final thoughts, but I think right there, man, like that, that sealed the deal right there. And I'm going to leave on that note as well, man. Keep your main thing your main thing, We really appreciate y'all brothers coming, with the hectic schedules and everything, man.
Yeah.
We salute. And, as always, this podcast, it's for the people, by the people, where dreams go further than bullets.
There you
Never
go.
forget that, and we out of here. Peace.
Bet on me. Bet on me, bet on me, bet on me.